Okay, we're live. We're good to go. You're muted.
How long do I have?
We got 45 minutes.
Excellent. Fantastic. So, and that's including questions, I believe.
Yes, correct.
Beautiful. It's exciting to be here. Finally, we have looked forward to this amazing conference. Gotten tons of reminders from like the team. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. So it's exciting to be here today at this amazing human resource festival and talking about artificial intelligence today. I'm everyone. My name is Olushola Amuson. I'm founder and CEO at Coven Works. Also AI practice lead at amuson.ai. I am a very, very strong proponent of artificial intelligence, and a lot of people who hear me speak about it, based on like how passionate I am, actually call me the artificial intelligence evangelist. And I am so passionate about AI that I sleep, drink, wake up, with AI every single time. And it's exciting to be here today to be able to see how we can help HR professionals of today to be ready for tomorrow. My company's obsessive mission is to build tomorrow's workforce. And you can learn more about that at www.covenworks.com. Today in this conference, we want to take a quick look at the new age of artificial intelligence as it relates to human resources and the future of work. And I've had the opportunity, thankfully, to speak quite a number of times about this subject, particularly as it relates to the future of work, albeit to a different audience. Most of the time when I speak about this, I'm speaking to either students who are in the university and preparing for the world of work, or new hires in the several companies that invite me to their onboarding events, or to just a group of a mixed audience who are trying to learn about how the future of work is going to be impacted by artificial intelligence. So I'm super, super stoked once again to be speaking to people who actually are the, let me say, the major players, right? As far as the world of work is concerned, and those are HR practitioners. But I'm also not going to forget the fact that there might be other people who are just enthusiasts who have joined this conference and are part of what is going on today. As we already know, AI is no longer like something in the future. It's not a buzzword that is just come to, make all of us feel like we don't know what we're doing. It is actually something that's been on for quite some time. Artificial intelligence in itself is a branch of computing that focuses on simulating intelligent behavior in machines. So the goal here is to be able to make sure that everything that humans do, everything that humans, are used to doing as far as work is concerned, can be done even faster, better, and with higher level of efficiency and accuracy, right? And the field of computing that is responsible for creating that simulation is actually the field of artificial intelligence. So it's an exciting field, and a lot of people are getting into it, and many corporate leaders are realizing the importance of this field of artificial intelligence. Now, most of the sessions I have usually want me to break down like what is artificial intelligence, and sort of like try to elucidate more on how exactly people who don't have a computer science background can wrap their head around it. So usually that's where I start. And I will try to use the next 10 minutes, just assuming that it's not everybody on this call who is very, very conversant with, the world of artificial intelligence, before we go too far and then we start talking about algorithms and all of that, and people are totally lost. So I start with what is artificial intelligence. I'm going to share like my notes, but usually I believe when people have the notes, like when you're speaking, like they lose like that personal, feeling of discussion. I think that's really what this is about. So I'm going to share my notes, two of my notes, one from a very, very well-revered paper, and secondly from a slide that I used to teach what is artificial intelligence. So these two, I'm going to zip them in a PDF so you can read through after this, but follow me and focus on me and get ready with your questions. So this session will be first to be able to help you define artificial intelligence, help you understand the journey from traditional computing to artificial intelligence, and then going on to specifically narrow down to how AI is applicable and affecting the field of HR today and the future of work. And I hope that is really, really clear enough. So the one person I can see, he's my host. So, it will help that you give me like the visual cues as if I'm speaking to 500 people, which actually I know many more people are watching right now, but I can only see their feedback right here. So, as I said, those would be the learning outcomes. And the first thing you need to know is that artificial intelligence is when machines can, perceive their environment, when machines can perceive their environment. So the regular journey from traditional computing to artificial intelligence shows us that the regular computers from the mainframes, you remember the story about like how computers used to be an entire house. People would go there, submit their batch processing documents, in the 50s, and then come back several days later to get what the computer has processed, to today when we can have computers in our pockets with 50,000 music files right in our pocket. So just yesterday, a friend of mine hooked me up with a Spotify subscription because I've been using Amazon Music, and I can find like all of the old Nigerian music on Amazon Music. And then he was like, "Why don't you try out Spotify?" I mean, I never used Spotify. I've never been a music guy, but recently I've been doing long commutes, and then I really just wanted something. And it was totally amazing how far into the past, like all of these like music files have been compiled. My point is, traditional computers made it so easy for us to now carry several thousands of music files in our pockets everywhere in the name of the iPod or in the name of the iPhone or whatever device that you're carrying. But today, moving from traditional computing to artificial intelligence is actually the point where machines no longer just become a batch processing device or a device that accepts input and provides output, as we like to define, to becoming a device that can perceive their environment. They become cognitive machines, just like humans, who can perceive their environment. They can exhibit intelligence. That's number two. Number one, they can perceive their environment. Number two, they can exhibit intelligence. And that's really packed when we say something can exhibit intelligence. We can double click into that. And then the third one will be to take actions and make decisions to maximize success at a goal. So they take action or they make decisions to maximize their chance of success at a goal. So these three things is what you can use to characterize artificial intelligence. And it breaks it down further. It suddenly becomes something that is not altogether verbose and huge. It's like, first, any machine that can perceive its environment, that can exhibit intelligence, and that can take actions to maximize success at a goal. So I teach a course called The Spectrum of Artificial Intelligence, which basically is simply, showing everyone who is watching that artificial intelligence is not particularly when you see, or it's not only when you see an all-knowing, AI that can tell you everything you want to know. It starts from like the smoke detector. When you have a smoke detector in a room, and that smoke detector can tell varying smoke levels, throw up an alarm, and then recommend by throwing the alarm what the people in the house should do. By throwing up that alarm is saying they should either find the smoke source or get out of that place. So when I teach spectrum of AI, I tell people that the lowest spectrum of intelligence or of artificial intelligence is actually sensors. And those sensors are like in smoke detectors, they're like in every single thing that you can imagine. Right now, you have AI in your car, you just don't know. I mean, every single sensor that tells you, there was a car, I don't remember which one, that was driving at the time, that once there's a drop of rain on the windshield, it actually starts the wiper. So it has a sensor there that lets you know that it means that there's something that needs wiping. So it starts from there. It can perceive its environment, it can exhibit intelligence, and it makes decisions that maximizes the chance of success at a goal. And when we double click on exhibiting intelligence here, we're saying that what makes us different from chimpanzees and apes is actually our cognitive, faculty, is our ability to actually, make decisions of our own, exhibit intelligence when we see. We can recognize. When I see, someone and I see them again, I make some, there's some neurons that fire in my mind, right? Whether or not it's exhibiting fear or exhibiting excitement or exhibiting anxiety, all of these things are now being considered necessary to process into machines or to simulate in machines. So let's come over it again. Artificial intelligence is what? When any machine can perceive its environment. Number two, when it can exhibit intelligence. And number three, when it can take actions or make decisions that helps it to maximize the chance of success at any goal. All right? So when we start that way, anybody who didn't do computer science will go like, okay, that's it. So this is what it is. And in the extreme, what we all think about is Ex Machina, the Matrix, Terminator, Blade Runner, War Games, Hunger Games, Metropolis. Those are things we think about. Like this artificial intelligence apocalypse that's going to happen from Terminator, and John Connor is going to be sent from the past from the future to the past to come and save his own younger self. That's really what we think about, But that is the extreme where machines will take over and then humanity will be at risk. That's the extreme of artificial intelligence. And it's good that we have some skeptics like that who think that way, who go like, maybe AI is going to kill us all, right? Like there is a reason to think that way because humanity in itself has not proven to be like a good custodian of the planet, in that we've done all kinds of silly things. We've manufactured, built our cities without recourse to like nature itself. So in the same way, many people are skeptical that if we allow artificial intelligence to go so far and build this intelligence into machines, and these robots are everywhere, are they not going to, make us all slaves one day? Well, that is not entirely true. That particular concept itself is called the singularity. A point where machines achieve a level of intelligence that nobody else can then control them. Well, what we always tell people, those of us on the other side of that divide, is they are machines and we can always unplug them, right? We can always unplug them. And the second reason is because before we really get to the point of recursive learning is the point where AI can actually, regardless of how it's been programmed, continue to learn by itself. It's still going to take a long time, which gives us enough time to be able to really prepare around the ethics and governance of artificial intelligence. So remove all of those apocalypse in your mind, remove all of those end time destruction in your mind as a result of machines, because we have enough time to actually be better humans to be able to create responsible AI, which is something I am very, very vocal about. Responsible AI, artificial intelligence that will mimic some of our best ideals rather than some of our worst ideals, essentially.
Okay. Can I say something? Someone's asked a question on the stream, and the question is, do AI and data protection go together?
Yeah, I'm going to get onto that point. So
okay.
For now, I would say, so that we have a smooth flow over the next 30 minutes, like just put your questions down. Please don't forget them. They're really important. I love questions, but I will take them at some point because some of my conversations will actually answer some of those questions in your minds, and you would see, oh, maybe that wasn't necessary anymore. But definitely I'm getting to that. So people like Elon Musk believe that AI is going to kill us all at some point. That is the healthy skepticism. And you're like, Elon Musk, of all people, planning to go to space? But he has that skepticism really to guide us and to make us know that we need to think about how exactly we govern artificial intelligence. So when we talk about AI, what is central to them is cognitive computers. A very important part of artificial intelligence, apart from the humans that they're trying to imitate, is actually the cognitive computers. And this is where I'm going to like sort of roll up my initial introduction on artificial intelligence. I have a full-length introduction to AI sort of program, but this session today won't afford us the time. So cognitive computers, first, they are made with algorithms. Two, they are knowledgeable only about what they are taught. Three, they control only what we give them control of. And finally, they are aware of nuances and they can control and they can continue to learn more. So I'm going to start again so that you get it. There are 4 things you need to know when you think about a cognitive computer. This is providing a critical foundation before I talk about like the importance of AI in the future work or how HR practitioners need to really be keen about the adoption of artificial intelligence. First, any cognitive computer you see is made with algorithms. And what are algorithms? If you did mathematics at an advanced level, I mean, maybe in college or something, you would know that algorithms are a step-by-step way to solve a problem. So if I wanted to get out of this room that I'm in right now, I'll get off the chair, and I'll open the door, and then I'll close the door behind me, and I'll walk out to wherever I'm going to. That's a step-by-step way of solving the problem. So cognitive computers, any computer that exhibits intelligence, is made with algorithms, is knowledgeable only about what it's taught. So you have to train the cognitive computer. Then it controls only what you give them control of. And this is really crucial because it helps anybody who is building artificial intelligence to know that it is their responsibility what their AI becomes. So because they only control what we give them control over. And finally, they are aware only of the nuances and they can continue to learn more. All right. So these four things are very important. And then I'll move on to assume now that everybody is on the same page as far as what AI is concerned, is about. And that gives like a sense of, okay, we're good. We're good. You know, today in artificial intelligence, for those of you who are practitioners of HR, one of the critical barriers, I'm going to discuss a number of barriers to adopting artificial intelligence in your field. You know, every day I get to advise C-suite executives about starting with two things. If you want to get AI working in your organization, two things are like the low-hanging fruits that you can get started with, particularly if you don't have a chief, artificial intelligence scientist or a chief strategy officer who is in charge of AI adoption for your company. You need to start with two things. First is RPA, robotic process automation. And second is conversational AI. These two, regardless of your industry, whether you're in HR, finance, education, manufacturing, fast-moving consumer goods, oil and gas, insurance, any kind of field that you're in, logistics, supply chain, any kind of field you're in, agriculture, those two things are easy ways to get started. RPA, robotic process automation, because really, what we want in the workplace today is we want to do our work easier and faster so that humans can focus on more creative things. So every mundane task, every repetitive task can actually be done by a machine. So you start with RPA. When I say robotic process automation, I'm not saying buy a bunch of robots. If you're in manufacturing, maybe. But if you're offering services, you're in finance, you're in insurance, you're in investment banking, you're in supply chain, all of the back office side of work that you do that is repetitive and completely boring can be done using RPA. Essentially, you can make, you can create a series of, software programs that can automate each of those processes. Now, there are conversations about the socioeconomic impact of this, how hundreds of millions of people are going to lose their jobs. The World Economic Forum says that at least 22 million, at least 60 million jobs will be lost between 2018 and 2022 to artificial intelligence around the world. But there's going to be 133 million new jobs created. These new job titles are focused on the creation and management of artificial intelligence and data systems. So think about it. If you're going to be losing your job, or if you know someone's going to be losing a job, or if as an HR manager, you're going to be making the tough decision of firing people, then we also have the responsibility of advising those people over a period of time to say these are the new jobs, or these are the new skills, or these are the new job titles. Now, the World Economic Forum released a report called the Future of Work Report that shows the emerging jobs landscape. Number 1 and number 2 of 10 in the list of new job roles are number 1, data scientists, number 2, machine learning engineers. So these two roles is one of the reasons why we started Coven Works in 2018, to basically create this new generation of young people who are going to go into the field of data science and artificial intelligence. If you go down that list, you're going to find out that there are number 3, number 4, number 5 to number 10, there are 6 technology roles in there. And the remaining 4 roles that appear non-technology, that are managerial, are actually in charge of managing the technology roles. So if you want to be a technology manager or a manager in the technology space, or you're a manager now, you're suddenly going to be managing a bunch of tech eggheads or techies or nerds, then there are technology skills you need to learn. So operations manager is also part of it. But this time around, there are technology savvy operation managers. So this list of 10 jobs can actually be concluded to be a list of new technology roles. And that's what the emerging job landscape looks like. So if you're an HR consultant today, or you're an HR manager, if you don't know about data, cloud, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, you're going to lose your job real soon to just some chatbots. And I'm always very, very, kind about it, but I stopped being kind about it because it's fact, it's the truth, it's data. And what we are realizing, to make you feel a little better, is that people won't entirely just lose their jobs like that. They'll become obsolete on the job because many of the tasks they used to do will now be performed by machines from like HQ. And now they're just going to go to work, like check their, I don't want to sound chauvinistic because not all HR managers are women, but the guys are going to adjust their ties all day and just check that their suit is not rough and there's no work to do. And then the ladies will check their hair and their makeup all day and there's no work to do. Why? Because centrally there is a central hiring bot that has done the hiring. A central, appraisal system that has done the appraisal work. A central everything that is actually controlled by artificial intelligence. That's where the world of work is going to. So I'm not just here to spell doom, but I'm saying that this is the best time. As a matter of fact, the best time was 5 years ago. But this is the best time for you to actually start learning about artificial intelligence, about machine learning, and all the other fields that will position you to be a high-value employee in your place of work. Who is the new champ? Who is the new champ on the block? Who is the new AI champ on the block? It's our HR manager. Who is the new AI champ on the block? Is our human resource consultant. Who is the new AI champ on the block? That's who you should be, right? So it's really crucial to reposition ourselves for this new dimension of things. Today, many HR companies, and in fact, many companies, have a number of barriers to adopting artificial intelligence. But I just said there are two very low-hanging fruits, because many people ask this question from consultants every now and then. Like, I charge $150 an hour just to answer the question, where should I start with artificial intelligence? Where exactly should I get started? And what I tell people is two low-hanging fruits. First, conversational AI. Second, robotic process automation. Now, those are not actually the first things to do. The first thing to do is to actually create an AI strategy for your organization. I have an AI playbook, which is like, this is how we are going to adopt artificial intelligence. But when you think in terms of, okay, the adoption, what exactly are we going to be adopting? To start with, it will be conversational AI and RPA. And this is me having looked at several fields and several application points of artificial intelligence and concluding that particularly for people whose businesses are in the third world or in developing economies, that's actually the places they can start from. So the barriers to adopting artificial intelligence in HR today include the talent gap. People are like, who's going to do this for us? Because it's expensive to find properly educated and skilled people who can understand and speak, but not just the speak, who can do the do. Nigerians, Nigerian people, you know what I mean? Who can understand the speak and who can do the do. Who can basically not just talk about it, but who can actually get the work done. So finding skilled people is actually a big deal. The talent gap is just crazy. So in 2018, we started training 3,000 data scientists. Our journey is actually to train as much as 10,000 data scientists for the Nigerian economy. But in 2018, between 2018 and now, we've trained over 3,000 data scientists. Some of them are not even ready for jobs. They're like in year 3 in the university. Some of them have graduated. Some of them are current working class professionals, but a good number of them have not even started. So if you're looking for data scientists to start in your workplace as like an intern, a 3 months intern, you know who to talk to. They are there, they're in the schools, they're still just getting ready to graduate. Some of them have graduated. We've been sponsored by World Bank, USAID, the GIZ, that's the German Economic Development Corporation, quite a number of organizations who have sponsored us. They are seeing the potential. They are seeing the needs. And soon as we started, 5 other organizations in Nigeria who I'm very proud to talk about. I'm very proud to talk about. Data Science Nigeria, Rise Networks, Rise Labs, Utiva, and University are 4 organizations that I know are also training machine learning engineers, training data scientists, just to make sure that we as Nigerians or as Africans can take our space under the sun. When the when the World Economic Forum says there's going to be 133 million new AI jobs created, where are these jobs going to come from? China, New Zealand, Estonia, the United States, where are they going to come from? What can we do as a government? What can we do as individuals? What can we do as educators? What can we do as HR professionals? What can we do to begin to build tomorrow's workforce? And that's why I said that's our obsessive mission at CovenWorks, to build tomorrow's workforce. But it's not enough. If we have a vision to train 10,000, why don't you start and set another vision to train 500,000, to train 400,000, depending on what capacity you have? But it starts first by you taking the bull by the horn and deciding to educate yourself first before you can then assist others. And that's why talent gap is a major barrier, right? Who is going to help us to get this started? The AI professionals are not enough. They're not enough of them. I have a course now that is training AI consultants. I have about 500 people in that class, learning to be AI consultants. And the goal right there is to basically make sure that there was a report I went through, to digress a little, and that report basically shows us that 80% of CIOs in the US are saying that they would need to implement artificial intelligence in the year 2020. Of course, COVID-19 has spelled another thing, but the point of that report is to tell us that there are several CIOs who want to implement artificial intelligence, these chief information officers or chief information security officers of companies who want to implement artificial intelligence but don't exactly know how to go about it. So there has to be people in education, people in human resources, people either as internet champs within the organizations or outside, who are ready and keen about this whole idea of providing guidance and direction to organizations. And of course, the issue of gender equality within that space. I see some people popping in messages and saying, yes, we need to do it for girls, we need to do it for girls. Absolutely. I am such a big fan of that. So we need to do a lot more, not just for everybody, but mostly for those who are the most disadvantaged, the one who have been marginalized for so long. I'll give you an example. When I had the chance to set up my data science and artificial intelligence school, I didn't do it in Lagos because I knew that there were people all around Nigeria who had skills but didn't have the opportunities. I knew all the other friends that I had, whenever they decided to start their data science programs and AI programs, they would do it in Lagos. They would do it in Abuja because that's what it's easy to do. So I knew they were going to do that. And so I took my program all the way to Akure and then training people in Benin and Owerri, simply because you need to get the most disadvantaged people the opportunities. And the same way, that's the exact same way I feel about women as well. Because women for so long have been relegated to the back and people have told them they can't do technology. So we need more people who have programs that specifically focused on this. One program I would have been so excited, to push and talk about, but we're still struggling with it, is our Data Chicks program. This program is to make sure that more girls actually learn about data, and we're looking for sponsors, supporters, individuals and facilitators who can help us to make that
happen. Can I say something?
Thank you.
Buki is on here. Buki is female entrepreneur. She owns a company called the Female Entrepreneur, and she's in this session. And I'll be happy to work with Buki to bring that reality. I love girls. We love girls. We're going to do that. Hold me to that. Hold me to
excellent, that. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much for that. And Buki, thanks for that in advance. And number 2 barrier is concern over privacy, which is answering the question of the young man who asked you the question the other time. Concern over privacy is another barrier. HR has been traditionally known for confidential information, PII, personal identifiable information. And with the whole advent of GDPR and everything, and I'm sure, I hope everybody on this call, is GDPR compliant as HR managers, right? Even though people will say, there's no GDPR law in Nigeria, but There are Nigeria is such a diverse place. There are Europeans who are Nigerians. There are, you know what I'm saying? So it really affects us. And some of us offer services outside Nigeria. So concern over privacy is another barrier. Confidential HR data must be accessed securely and available only to authorized persons. So because of that, many of the HR people are like, am I sure I'm going to turn over all these files to this techie to build us a solution? You know, so people are worried about that, and that's a major barrier, but we'll talk about that. Then ongoing maintenance, as with other innovative technologies, how do we ensure that whatever we have built is going to continue to receive the needed attention to keep it maintained? Because AI actually requires deep learning, which takes a lot of time, and regular review and updates to make sure that the nuances are well taken care of. Then integration capability. So the data in many companies, as most of you who are on this call will agree with me, the data in many companies, they're limited. So the people have data, but it's not in usable format. Some of us have rooms filled with files of people that have been hired over time, appraisals, all of those things, right? We keep having all of those, you know, piled up papers right there in our shelves and all of that. So that data isn't ready to use. And that's why for many of you on this call, for many people who are listening to me today, the best place to start is first cloud technologies, which is software as a service. If you are running your HR business right now, you're an HR business partner or you're an HR lead in your company, and you guys don't have a SaaS, you don't have a software as a service, whether it is Dynamics or it is Salesforce or it is SAP or whatever, whether you need something within your organization that is managing your ERP or your CRM, your customer relations management and your enterprise resource planning tools. You need to be doing your HR business on a platform where the data is easily pluggable to the future, is easily usable, is readily available. Someone just asked me the question, is Nigeria ready for artificial intelligence? These are things to consider when we ask ourselves that question. You know, there are two reasons you can be asking that question. You can ask as a skeptic, and you can ask as somebody who is truly concerned. As a skeptic, you can ask like, is Nigeria truly ready with all this nonsense going on, with all of these challenges we have in leadership, with all of these killings every day? Is Nigeria truly ready? Well, if that's the perspective, then there's really never a time to get ready, because mobile phones came along when Nigerians needed them. So self-driving cars are already in Lagos and Abuja. So really, we never will be ready. It will just come upon us. But if you're also asking from the standpoint of someone who is truly concerned, then the answer to that question is the way to actually get ready is what we should focus on. And that is in paying serious attention to data gathering, paying serious attention to data warehousing. So if you run an HR company or you work in a company and you are the HR lead or you are the HR business partner or you run any HR function, make sure that people, first of all, take paper out of the way. Take paper out of the way so that from 2020 and beyond, there is no such thing as filling paper forms, okay? Have a data strategy, set up a system that is secure, use software as a service to get your work done. This is very, very, very crucial, right? That's the way to start. And you need to engage some consultant to work with you to digitize all the existing, data. Reason why this is important is that it will always be a major barrier to adopt artificial intelligence. I mean, tell me, how do you train a computer with data that is not clean, that is not been, sanitized, that is not been visualized, and all of that? It's difficult to be able to create those data pipelines, right? For anybody who's technical here, you understand what I'm saying. But it's just general common sense. Like we can't use that paper data in the raw form that it is right now. So you need to consider integration capabilities, and that's what we're talking about. Software as a service. Then limited proven applications. This is another barrier. So many people who are like leaders, let's say you are a CEO and you're on this conference right now, you're like, okay, tell me, can you use AI for this? Can you use AI for that? Let's say you've used 25 years in the industry, and then you had some of those deep HR questions about what AI can do. And then the person who is talking to you isn't knowledgeable enough. They go like, maybe not yet, or maybe not yet. And that exactly just makes you totally discouraged that, hey, we're not there yet. So many products and services are feasible only based on proof of concept, because They've not been tested across. And it takes time for this industry to actually mature. But you want to be ahead of the curve by being one of the people who actually be lab rats, in quote, with whatever it is that you are testing. Don't wait, because you don't shoot a moving target where it is. You shoot it where it's going to be, so you have to make sure that you're ready for that. So those are the 5, roadblocks that we see today: talent gap, concern over privacy, ongoing maintenance, integration capabilities, and limited proven applications, right? Well, there are a number of things that, I'd like to talk about, regardless of the cost of implementing artificial intelligence. There are certain justifications that you cannot throw away. We need to let HR professionals spend their time doing more useful things. So reducing HR professionals' time, the time they spend on administrative tasks, is one major justification for artificial intelligence. When you want to talk to your leadership or your C-suite executives about why and how we should be implementing artificial intelligence for our work, the first justification is it reduces the amount of time you spend on mundane administrative tasks. Number 2, it reduces the burden of shared service centers, help desk, by performing those transactions you are used to performing and answering those routine queries. So I remember that in Microsoft, while I was working in Microsoft, they had this tool called Ask HR. Every time people want to do anything, they just shoot an email to HR. Everybody in the organization has a many-to-one relationship with HR, even though they don't have it. I mean, someone can be in the company for a whole year and not talk to another employee, but there's no chance that he hasn't spoken to HR that year, right? So we have this many-to-one relationship with HR that can be crazy. And people ask some of the most ridiculous questions, isn't it? Routine questions that can be answered, by just setting up a Microsoft AI Q&A, or just developing a simple, chatbot or a simple system for routine queries. So you can make a case for that. Then recruiting and retention. Today we have smart assistants for recruiting, and then retention. How do we reduce attrition? By understanding the sentiments of our employees. Then measuring the return on investment. It also helps. Artificial intelligence helps us to measure return on investment, because you can actually see how many people stayed, how many people how many new talents you were able to fetch because of the insights that you got from your previous data. And of course, reducing bias in HR decision making. This is the sweetest part, right? If we can build a system that in itself can eliminate bias while it's being built, we can make sure that an HR manager is not hiring somebody because they're Yoruba or they're Igbo or they're Hausa. Neither is he hiring the person because they're female or male. Neither is he hiring somebody because they are their kinsmen or they are village people or they are town people. Because HR will reduce every form of bias. AI will reduce every form of bias in the HR decision-making process when it is in itself implemented without bias. Now, this is a very important caveat, because you can build the solution with bias included in the solution. That's what's going on with Black Lives Matters right now. How is AI profiling people and deciding that these people are criminal? Because the person who built that AI platform in himself has some prejudice about what a criminal should look like, right? And including what their color is, and that's crazy. There are some HR functions today that are using AI more effectively. And for organizations who are looking for the straightforward approach, like the question somebody just asked, the straightforward approach to get started with this, it will be better to look at those global HR functions that already are enjoying great support or great adoption or effectiveness in use of artificial intelligence. And one of it is viewing and updating employee information. This is something you always almost have to do, isn't it? So for most traditional companies, the HR person hands out a series of forms, usually burdensome and annoying, and the employee fills it up, and then they submit it back to HR, who, if it's a senior HR, looks for a bunch of HR interns who are going to literally be cursing as they are doing the work, and they would have to update address, emergency contact, organizational details, vacation, vacation days, approval status, vacation request, authorized, all other authorized HR business data. So that in itself is a very tiring process, right? So Viewing and updating employee information is a place that already artificial intelligence is making all of that a lot easier. And, there are a number of HR cloud solutions that you can take a look at. There is recast.ai, recast.ai. SAP has a Leonardo ML Foundation, IBM Watson, ServiceNow. Microsoft Azure has some HR capabilities as well. And all of these cognitive engines can help employees to arrive at key day-to-day decisions in the workplace without actually needing the interface with the HR. Now, the danger of this is that this is going gradually to eliminate a physical HR person or reduce the number of HR persons. And that's why the HR industry, human resource industry itself, has to be the one leading this so that you can direct the narrative. And this is a massive, massive conversation going on. Access to HR business transaction data is another application area. So managers of people managers of HR members can access employee data per authorization. They can get the job history, they can do all of that. And the conversational AI will not just only return it like traditional computing software, but to bring analytical and key performance indicator data. So KPI data, all of that, head count, top performers, it can visualize them, and bring them in real time. Then team training, how do we make sure that we can assess skill gap, within an organization? Conversational AI can help managers to basically track this training progress. Then the entire hiring process itself. I have a friend who built a solution called, DropQ HR that basically helps companies to be able to hire faster. So rather than having thousands of people queue up at your office or line up at your office, you basically, allow them to record videos of themselves and answer certain questions. So their AI basically uses facial recognition to tell whether the person is honest, whether they are scared, whether they have anxiety, and it can test all of those things and be able to give a result, whether they are confident and all of that. See it as like a very super way of actually getting people hired. And there are already banks in Nigeria, and across Africa who are using this DropQ solution. Then all repetitive tasks, all low-value tasks can be done with automation, with robotic process automation. So again, it goes back to those 2 points. The straightforward approach for anyone is to start with RPA, robotic process automation, as well as conversational AI. All right, since we have only a few minutes to go, I would say that it's important to begin to think about a chatbot agnostic solution, to think about a solution that is not, whether or not it's on Azure and on IBM Watson or is on SAP's Leonardo ML, whatever, all of these companies are running so hard against each other to build the best AI for us. The unfortunate thing is that I'm not sure how much of our input is in terms of like the African continent is being put in. But thankfully, in many of these companies, we also have like top Nigerians, top Africans who are making massive contribution. But all of that isn't enough. We need organizations locally who are building like these tools so that our interests can be factored as these conversations are ongoing. There are a number of building blocks that we'll run through very quickly for the AI technology landscape. The first is cloud solution. You need to think about what cloud solution to use. Today, you don't need to go to school to go learn machine learning as a mid-career HR person, for you to actually be able to deploy machine learning algorithms. Already, there are cloud solutions with pre-trained models that are there already for deployment, testing, improvement, and quality assurance as far as the HR process is concerned. The other building block is natural language processing. We want AI to be smart enough to be able to speak to laymen and be able to take information from them, either from speech, or from things that we've written down before. And so solving these contextual and narrative issues has been like the major headache of top companies like Microsoft. And in 2019, they announced that their AI has achieved near human parity, in natural language translation. The third building block is digital assistance. We must be able to create digital assistant and customize tools like Google Assistant and Alexa for the workplace. Actually, you can customize Alexa by Amazon. You can list your business on it, provide a number of queries, and create a number of customized devices for your own office that people can actually walk up to and ask questions rather than visiting the HR desk. Automated machine learning as well, also shortened as AutoML. It provides exploratory data analysis. So essentially at the beginning, once you have your data, you just have data, you don't know what to do with it. Subject it to AutoML on Azure, on Google Cloud Platform, on Amazon Web Services, on IBM Watson, on SAP. I am technology and platform agnostic. So all these things I'm explaining do not have to be platform specific. Now, AutoML for these platforms, when you subject your data to it without even knowing what you want to see, the data starts to speak. It starts to speak. It starts to tell you and make recommendations for you. Okay. And then the number 4 building block is bots. Automated back office and enterprise operations via common plugins. All these plugins are available online. Check out Slack, check out Microsoft Teams. They all have bots that have been integrated into them to make like your operations easier so that you don't have to do all of those things. Reminders, employee vacation requests, there are bots already for that. And APIs for AI and business functionality. These APIs have been built already into tools like Google, Skype, ServiceNow, IBM Chatbot, social media messengers like Facebook Messenger. All of these tools already have APIs that you can connect. WhatsApp chat has an API that you can connect to your platform to make sure that people who are talking to your business phone number or employees who want to discuss something, whether it's private or sensitive issues or public issues they want to discuss with their HR manager, they can actually discuss with that WhatsApp, business number, but it doesn't appear on your phone. It actually feeds into another system that can maybe use exploratory data analysis to analyze the sentiments of the person that is talking and basically provide that data for future usage. So those are the 5 building blocks that I will end with today. Cloud solutions, natural language processing, digital assistance, AutoML, bots, and APIs for business functionalities. And I wish we had more time, but you can see that the options are big. And one of the things you should take away from here today is that AI is not something in the future. AI is already here with us. And what really matters is, are you talking to the right persons to be able to direct your organization on where you should get started? Whoever we advise you needs to understand the context of your organization, where you guys are, and what exactly you're doing at the moment, whether or not you have any efforts in place to be able to adopt artificial intelligence. But whether we like it or not, it is either we evolve or we die as a species. We need to create a new level of intelligence that will be able to make sure that we continue to sustain our leadership as far as this space is concerned. Thank you for your time. It's been an exciting time talking with you all and answering some of your questions along the line. Maybe this time now to take the questions officially. I hope that was useful.
Thank you. You're answering most of the questions as we're getting along. I think you're looking at some of the questions and you're sort of answering the questions that we're asking. I wanted to show you something. I want to share my screen and show you a little something. Bear with me 1 second. On mute, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So we've got the clever Olo. I'm just going to play for you because you're. I like to play with technology. That's why I like.
Hi.
Cooking. Hello.
Hi.
How intelligent are you?
I am functioning within normal parameters.
How intelligent are you?
My IQ is over 250.
Okay, I need to. Okay. This is just something I play around with. It's called the Clever Olo. What is your name?
Goodbye.
What is your name? Hi.
Hi.
What is your name?
I am the Clever Holo, an interactive avatar.
So I'm going to mute the Clever Olo and I will just stop sharing.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Okay. I was just trying to show you a sample of what we have. Can you hear me, Shola? A sample of what we have for interactive, when you say things that can ask HR question and answer, again, it's something that is incorporated, put so many questions into it. You don't have to go to human resource to ask certain questions. You can come in, copy inputs. Again, as you have said, just to buttress everything you said, AI is everything you want it to be, as long as you keep feeding it the information that it wants to hear. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Please, if you have any questions, I think people might want to interact with you if you're able to join our interactive platform. I know it's really early over there for you, but please, if you can join us on the platform so that people can connect with you.
Sure, by all means. I already saw some connection requests from some people, so I will get on it and answer some questions.
Please
For
do.
anybody who wants to know more, find my AI course online. It's at learning.amuson.ai. I'll put it on the platform as well, and then you can help me to because I know that a lot of people who are like, how do I get started? What do I do from here? You know, so it's important for you to really be the one championing the course of artificial intelligence for your organization, first for your own career, but also to be a thought leader within your own organization. So I have a program that is focused on, like, you know, people who are not technical at all. So it starts from the beginning. It shows, I mean, from my session, you can see how elementary I can get with this, you know, and it helps you like to get started. And it grows up like with increasing complexity. There are also about 30 industry case studies there to give you an idea.
So
of
if
like
okay, have you shared it so that we can share it in the platform? Share the link.
Absolutely. Then on Amazon, you can find my book called A to Z of AI Consulting. It's also on my website. It actually helps you to bring all of this home, even a lot more. It's like a 150-page book that basically is easy to consume, you know, and gives A to Z of AI consulting. Also, that is on my website as well. If you want to order on my website, you can get the e-copy or you can get the hard copy as well. Okay, so those are really important. Like, if you want additional support,
Shola, if people come for your training, if people come for your training, do they get certification, or can they they start working with the skills?
Yeah, the trainings are all certified. You know, if you're going, there are two tracks we have. If you're going on the technical track, we get certified by Amazon, you know, Amazon Web Services. So they get that certification, they go on and finish that up. They're also certified by our organization, which is an industry leader, by the way. And if they go through the non-technology track, they can actually get a certificate that is in partnership with the American Center for Artificial Intelligence. So it's useful both for jobs and also for expansion if they wanted to like travel abroad or something. So, which is something that many mobile young professionals will want to do. So you actually get certified in partnership with the American Center for Artificial Intelligence. And I think that is really rich, you know, so definitely that's something that you should definitely consider taking a look at. You know, so the platform is there. I shared both the link to the course and the link to my book right there. Yeah, the book is, I'm sorry, slightly pricey, but it brings the value. And if you get it, you get both the hard copy and the e-copy as well.
Okay.
You know, with it, if I got like a massive publishing deal, I'd have made it like a lot cheaper than that, and hopefully I'm still hoping to get that. So, but for now, that's what I have, and those two things are very important. Get on the platform. You have 30 plus industry papers, over 21 videos. I mean, what am I saying? Over 40 videos like on artificial intelligence trainings and tools that you can continue to use from time to time. And of course, there is a certification there. And then you move on from there to like the AI Consulting Pro and other mentorship sessions that I run. It's been a pleasure. Read more about my work on Wikipedia.
Thank you.
And on, yeah,
I'm
and
sure
online. And then
definitely will reach out to you.
awesome. I look forward to talking to her as well. I look forward to talking to her as well. Thank you. And you guys have a wonderful time for the sessions further. Have a good one.
Yes, bye.